Thank you so much, esteemed panelists, for joining us for another round of very insightful sessions. Obviously, I guess the people love you. We're not ready to leave you guys yet. So, thank you so much. The discussion for this chat is enhancing customer and seller experience in e-commerce and quick service restaurants, and learning those lessons from two varied industries. So let us start with Mr. Sandeep. Sir, e-commerce has been a very accelerated industry ever since, even from the times when these generative AI technologies and innovative AI based technologies were not in place. So predicting and user analytics, customer journey has been a very integral part of the entire industry. So what are your thoughts on how things were before and how they have changed with the advent of such technologies now? Any lessons that you would like to impart, whether it is because many organizations, small to medium scale organizations, still aren't very sure how to adopt such technologies into their system.
Hi everyone. Guys, you there? Yeah. Okay. So I'll try to make it a bit more interesting first of all. Guys, do you even know what is fireside chat? Fireside chat hoti kya hai? There is no fire. There is heat. So there is heat of light, of course, but it actually comes from a U.S. president, Mr. Roosevelt. So instead of giving speech, he thought that when he'll be conversating and people are listening to it, it'll have a better impact on people because it'll not be addressing people but having a conversation like with friends. So that is where the fireside chat all started, and I have taken you away from this topic so that to rejuvenate you, so that I can take you back to customer service. Now, uh, if we see industries, their age group has been reducing. There were industries which were agriculture. It was 1,000 years. We were doing the things same way, and then the reforms came. We made better. We are able to cater to about 8 billion people on this planet. But the if you see, the growth has been very, very slow. Now, I'll just compare it with music, right? Music industry, how it has evolved. There was time we used to have those digital cassettes. Oh, before that, we used to have those big tawas to play songs. Then we moved to cassettes. From cassettes, we moved to CDs. Nobody looks at CDs anymore. We moved to USBs for a little while, but now music is online. It's in air. It's in thin air. And we listen to that thin air every day when we are in our cars or listening to our lovely music. Now, e-commerce, it has a very interesting story in itself as well. E-commerce is about 25-year-old system. eBay is considered to be the first company which actually came in, and it was actually made. This gentleman had a broken. I'm missing out the exact word. So he had a broken product. He thought that, okay, will there be any taker for this? And he posted it online, and somebody purchased and began eBay. eBay brought in Amazon. Amazon created a humongous benefit by bringing in warehouses, started with books, but went into all other categories, etc., etc. Now, today, e-commerce is something we can't even live without. And e-commerce has also evolved in itself in this 20 years of journey. From Amazons to quick commerce, there were times we used to like our products to come in 5 days. After 5 days, Amazon said, pay me money, I'll give you Prime, I'll give you next day. We're happy with that. Now, even 10 minutes that a Blinkit guy takes at times seems like, yaar, kya 9 minute ho sakta hai? That's what is evolving. And each of this is a journey that we have been following. I'll not be surprised if tomorrow drones deliver you products in 3 minutes, or you order and there is a 3D printer that is creating that product for you at your home. I don't know the future, but I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. And it's very interesting that you mentioned about drones, because in some parts of the country, in India itself, drones are delivering, especially in Northeast. So my expertise is from healthcare domain. Although Elets Technomedia has different verticals as well, so I do host and moderate. But coming from healthcare background, drones in northeastern parts of our country do deliver emergency medicines, and it has been employed by the state government for brief periods when the requirement was more, and they worked very successfully. So maybe for very emergent, goods and services, which will then relate to pretty much all other industries and sectors, this would be in near future shortly. So thank you so much for sharing that. Coming on to Mr. Manoj. So we're trying to understand how the times were different before generative AI and predictive technologies for quick service, a restaurant domain, and now that we have such advanced tools for helping us ease and make things better. So how has what things have you noticed that are beneficial for the industry, or whatever you would want to share?
So what just Sandeep sir said, it's all about how this e-commerce evolve. Similarly, every business is evolving, and we have also evolved so far so good. All right. So when we talk about something to eat, in our case, generally it doesn't just, you see whatever we are not making, or I would say we're just assembling it. Okay. And I think so every QSR business, generally they do it, assembling part of it. They don't make anything there. But while you're eating, you don't realize how much time takes for you. So then there is a code that we generally say, farm to fork, how the foods are coming to your fork, what are the journey that particular food has been taken, like when you order something from here. So every bit of things are matter, and for us is that is the critical, that is where we are evolving. And understand one thing, because in the QSR restaurant, most of the products are perishable item. It is not like something you can keep it for a year or month or so on and so on. It's like something, you buy something today, you eat something, it has to be eaten within particular stipulated time, maybe 1 hour, 2 hour maximum. If you don't eat 2 hours, probably you don't like to eat again. So that is the scenario of the QSR industries. And what is matter is the time, is a SOS. We call speed of service. So when you order something, we have to deliver. Basically the SOS is 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, 1 minute 33 seconds to be precise. Second, the product has to be delivered to the customer. That is dining I'm talking about, not the delivery. So the moment that you go to the delivery is our maximum time. Sir, you were just talking about 30 minutes, 90 minutes. It sounds really good. It sounds really good, but the reality, when you actually go to the market, you'll feel like the 3PL, the last mile, is a challenge business. I think the drone is the solution, probably we should think about it now, because something you order, and by the time you're waiting for rider to come to your doorstep, you've already lost the charm, because sometimes you feel like, yaar, 50 minutes ho gaye, आधा घंटा हो गया, 1 घंटा हो गया, where is this order? Where is this call? And you've been calling to this rider and all, because see, this is why, because we are living in a journey, we are living in an era where everything is cheaper, and I think it's available everywhere. And you feel like, isme to dikh raha map mein आधा घंटा, but it is showing like it is coming 1 hour. You don't know what is the reality situation. So I'm saying, of course, we all have to push there. We all have to think about what is this technology that we have to brought in a place, so that our delivery business can also be, expedite in terms of not just to getting the food, but getting the food on time, before time. So for that, to answer your question, how do we evolve? Because we ensure our customer, whether it is online or offline, they should get the food on time. They should get the food to be precise, because what they order, they want to eat exactly the same. They don't want to eat something differently. So there is a certain process that we have to involve within our ecosystems. We implemented a lot of in-house tool which actually help us to give us a right information from the customer. When customer is buying something, we know what customer is wanted to eat. Not only me, basically I'm talking about every QSR, understand what customer wants to eat and how do you want to eat. They want to eat fresh food, they want to eat, okay, they don't want all that specific thing. So we give all options to the customer so that customer can select and choose their product, and based on the product, we can make the product for the customer. So that information that we have right now, and thanks to the technology, I would say, because the technology helps us to get all this information real time. And that is where, as a business, we evolved like, okay, now we have all the information about the customer. So we ensure like customer is a centric for every business, but how do we deliver to the customer on time or before time? That's a question, something we are still, I think not only me, but a lot of people still trying to solve it.
Thank you so much. So, enhancing customer experience, we spoke about briefly from both. But before we move on to stellar experience, I have another question from Mr. Manoj. That how do you analyze where human intervention is required at what point?
I think it's a valid question with the one what I was talking about, technology, because technology cannot run independently. You need a human. Correct? End of the day, whatever I bring it to the table, if human doesn't understand something, I think that it's a waste of money and waste of time for everyone. So whatever like technology that we are actually doing or for a business, we ensure like it has to be delivered to the customer. The adoption is a challenge. So just one story I would like to probably share with the people here. So we I think the QSR the kiosk, the self-ordering kiosk. It was like we were during the COVID era. We was about to launch that kiosk. Suddenly we realized that like now you can't even touch the screen. Then you have to get out that particular SOK, the overall model, because again there is a issue. And then we realized it like no, now self-ordering kiosk is not something people want to experience it. What should we do it now? How do we ensure like customer can have their own way of doing the billing? Because we don't want the customer to come and stand on the line, because we felt like a lot of customer has a lot of apprehension or anxiety. Okay, they feel pressurized. Okay, they feel like when they stand on the queue, they feel like pressurized. आपको चीज चाहिए क्या, आपको ये चाहिए क्या, and then feel like हाँ ठीक है दे दो. So whatever they feel like हाँ ठीक है, it's okay, leave it, close it, because somebody is waiting outside or standing in behind you. So we say like how do we ensure like we'll give the customer enough time to order it, and also we ensure like customer has to order within the stipulated time, because we don't want, even if you have a 10 kiosk, 5 kiosks, if the customer taking his own time, then again there will be queue start building up. So there I feel like you need a human intervention again. You need someone to guide the customer, because you don't expect every customer as a tech savvy customer. You don't like you give a lot of SOK or you give a lot of technology to order or interact with the customer, but not every customer is smart enough to use the technology. I'm not saying like customer is like not tech savvy, but yes, there are certain scenarios, like, because when we are talking about customer, I don't only talk about Mumbai or Bangalore. I also talk about Patna. I also talk about the rural part of area. So if I do something, I'll do it for all my pan India. So we have to ensure like how do we communicate to the customer and how do we convert to the customer. So like if customer is coming to my self-ordering kiosk, somebody should be standing there to help them. So there I feel like you need a human intervention. There you feel like you need someone to help the customer, so that they can order what they exactly expecting from us.
Thank you so much. I will come back to you again, but before that, we will talk about a little about stellar experience, which with Mr. Sandeep Singh and of course Mr. Manoj as well. That stellar experience is often overlooked in discussions about marketplace success. So, can you touch upon that a little bit, and also help us understand the value of stellar experience? How is it different from general customer experience, or does it come between the part of an entire customer journey, and how do you prioritize?
Very interesting question. What do we do with the vendor or the seller who is sitting on the other side, providing customer what he's expecting to get? There is no doubt about it that customer comes first because he's bringing in money to the table. But if I have to look back on Snapdeal's journey in terms of what we have done in terms of creating a great experience for the seller, um, a seller wants, what is his need? His need is when he comes in, he should be educated. But as of today, in a era when we use more Instagram than a YouTube, the attention span is very small. So what we need to ensure, or what we do today, is that with every step we keep on teaching you. Example, you want to become a seller on Snapdeal, you put your GST, that's it. We'll bring in your address, we'll do your validation, we will take your bank account, we'll do a penny drop, we'll validate your financials. We have your address through your GST, and you can start doing business by putting in your listings. So making it easy for him, but also educating him that, okay, this is the next step you have to do. Now you're registered, next, start listing. This is how you list, and only teach you about listing. You made your first listing, I tell you, now whenever you get an order, these are the steps you need to do to fill that order. And when you are filling that order, I give you information that this is the amount of money you will get after X number of days if it is successfully delivered and the customer does not want to return. So, point A, we give education at every moment or at every stage so that he is always aware. B, a seller wants to see information in a very, very clear way. So we provide some dashboards where he can understand how much he has sold, how much is his inventory left, highlighting that if he does not fill in this, he will have a business loss, etc., which provides visibility to him. So I provide education, I provide visibility to how it has to happen. And the third is intelligence, which comes from a Gen AI models or the predictive models that we run. We said, okay, what is the next thing we expect him to pick up which can help him generate more sales? So you fill these three buckets. In my mind, sellers' basic needs are over. And next things that we do will be the delighters. And there is no end to delighters. But in case I have to weigh customer and seller, I'll probably put some more on the customer than on the seller.
Thank you so much. So basically, empowering them along the way. Empowered sellers would, mean more business and more profits. So yes, coming on to profits, we have all these technologies and that are being widely adopted into every industry. Generative AI, ML, analytics, all advanced technologies, and obviously these also would come with a cost. So how do we make sure that we, moving forward, all the data analytics that we are working, integrating, or adopting are also cost efficient or profitable for the business as well? So starting with Mr. Manoj for your industry, and then we will move on.
Yeah, absolutely, because nothing comes free. Everything is attached to the cost. And even for a business, they want to know what is the ROI. ROI matters. Whether you buy a laptop or whether you buy a tool, this is the cost involved to it, and that ROI has to come. And when we are talking about Gen AI, because see, I think I was just talking about a while ago, we have a lot many data. We have n number of data. But if you don't use the data, it's all scrap. It's all scrap. So we can't, because we say like data is oil, data is everything. But if you don't know how to use this data and how to convert this data into the information, it's a waste of money. So it's very important for any business to understand, okay, what is the data that you're getting it. Of course, you have a machine learning, you have all these tools are available. How do we, get the right information from the specific data? Gen AI, of course, see why I'm saying Gen AI is very, it's going to be a very interesting tool, and it's going to be really helpful for every business. Why? Because even I'm just giving one use case for my business. Like say for example, when you're going to my applications, it could be mobile app, it could be any other channels, or it could be any social media channels. The moment I see you as a customer, you are interacting with me. And if I have all your information, imagine like the moment you come, you say, hi, imagine I just got to know, probably, Sandeep sir is here. I can figure out, okay, Sandeep is logging with my app. I know Sandeep history, what Sandeep likes it, what he doesn't like it, what is his feedback from the last interaction, what he had with us. Maybe he must be not liking the spicy food, or he must be liking some specific food, and he must be buying this particular model. You should know this, the information about the Sandeep. So that is going to be delightful for Sandeep sir. So the moment he'll say, the moment you interacting with Sandeep sir saying, hi, last time you purchased this and this is your feedback and you have allergy to this particular things. Basis on that, I'm suggesting something this to you. Would you like to try? You feel like, okay, this is something, it's kind of a wow moment, nothing else. Okay, it's basically wow moment. You feel like, okay, something is good. It's promptly asking me something. Do you want to eat something? This, which is like it is goes with your choice. I'm talking about the food point of view. Okay, of course, similarly, it goes to a lot of other textiles and the fashion industry. You buy denim, then they select something different. They suggest something different. That's a suggestive selling. That's a separate part of it. I'm saying generative is like you're interacting with the system. So you just have to pay a little. I'm not saying it's gonna be expensive one. You can build your own tool. You can build you can nothing but it's just it's a training your bot. You need to train your bot. You need to give all the right information to the bot. And trust me, this is going to be a game changer for the business. That's what my view.
No, awesome. I agree, and I'm going to share a story because it's a fireside. But this is a true story, guys. There is a gentleman, if I'm not mistaken, in Minneapolis. It's okay. So this is a story of a US father going to a Walmart store and going and complaining that you sent a flyer, ads wala page bheja aapne mere ghar pe. I have a teenage daughter, but you have recommended products which are to be given to a pregnant female. Okay, and he was like rude to the store manager. Store manager apologized and said that must have been some mistake. I'll get it checked as well, how it happened, etc., etc., and went out. Now, the store manager did check, but he could not find anything out of the normal. After 30 days, this gentleman goes back to the store manager and apologizes. He says, you know what, maybe I didn't know what was happening in my house. My daughter is actually pregnant. Now, how did Walmart come to know that she is pregnant is because of the earlier purchases she did. And based on the purchases she did, a hyper-personalized flyer was sent to her to buy those products which she will need in the next few months. That is personalization. My friends, personalization is real. And what Gen AI is doing is it's increasing conversion. So instead of me showing you 10 items and you don't buy anything, if I show you 5 items and you buy one out of that, the ROI automatically generates from that ML. And it is not something that is coming in new. It was there with Walmart 10 years back, 15 years back. Some part of it we were already exercising 10 years back. I think what has happened recently is that with ChatGPT coming in and we overusing the word generative, it is not generative, it is more analytical, and it's more AI logic that are built in to give you that personalized sphere. There is another part to it, and I'll just touch it for a bit, is localization. And that is something that Snapdeal does. That there will be some part of our country where some kind of products will be liked more as compared to the others. The color palette used for clothing in southern part of India is different than a color palette used in northern part of India. and that something which is superimposed on personalization, which gives you the choice, but an informed choice. Our brain is funny. If you give him too many choices, you are not able to make a choice. So you have to give choices, but you have to give those limited number of choices so that you can make a choice and the seller or the organization can really make a conversion. And sale at the end of the day is what we are all here for. Yeah.
Great. Very insightful. Got to learn so many things. So now we come down to the end of this very insightful discussion. So the last question for both our panelists would be, the way generative AI has basically quote unquote revolutionize the entire world's different industries. If there were any other technology that is maybe fictional as of now, but you would want to have it and see it and voice it out, what would that be? Yes, out of question, but just I was curious, as it's a fireside, as sir says.
Okay, so I love science fiction movies. Okay, so I used to watch Star Wars, right, in 90s, and they used to showcase virtual conference happening across planets. It's a reality today. We do it, right? So I'll recommend you to watch all science fiction movies. So anything that a movie can imagine today probably can be a truth tomorrow. Maybe we will be living on Mars someday, maybe. And maybe the next age of a human will be a 150 because of the wellness things coming up. So I don't know what the future will be, but I know the future will be bright.
I think mostly you covered what I'm thinking, because even I like science and fiction movies. What I would actually talk a little more on the business side, because what I also feel, since I'm into the restaurant business, IoT and AI, imagine, and both are actually both are evolved from the last 3 years. If you see, we were talking about AI, now we are talking about Gen AI. It's improving. They are evolving year on year. What I feel like, from the business angle point of view, specifically restaurant, you have a lot of utility cost in the restaurant. You have a lot of utility costs that you pay, the light bill, electricity bill, whatever the bill that you have it. All this information, that is like, we don't have a control to it, and we do have a mechanism to monitor it. We do have a mechanism to, we can visualize, how much is the cost is going to be. That information is available with us. But with the help of AI, how do we control it? How the AI play the roles here, saying that, now there is a threshold and it has been reached to the threshold, and then we have to ensure like this cannot go beyond the threshold. That action should not be taken by any human. And imagine that action has been taken by the AI. We could probably save a lot of utility costs. That I feel like.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I would like to pitch in one more, that some of the medical products are using this kind of technology where the patient is just thinking about things and the wheelchair is moving just with thought. And this technology is getting translated and researched into other parts as well. Few very well-known brands are working on this, that you're just thinking and, that you're pressing these buttons in thin air and the actions are happening. So maybe that is one of the future aspects of technology that we can see always obviously integrated with the existing technologies. So with that, we come down to the end of this session. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so glad to have this discussion with you.